What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Save Point Podcast, episode 21. I am Alex, one of your co-hosts, and I'm, as always, joined by Sway. And holy God, do we have a lot to talk about? Gotham Knights just decided to drop on a dime. Armored Core, Twisted Metal, games that came out last week, games that are coming out, say tomorrow, and one big one I can think of in Jedi Survivor. We're going to talk about all that, as well as, any questions or comments or thoughts in the chat while we do it live. And, as always, we appreciate both the people that watch us live and then also afterwards. We really thank you. So, Sway, let's jump in really briefly. What have we both been playing? And then let's get to all the news that's been going on.
A little bit of Hogwarts Legacy, a little bit of Fire Emblem, actually.
Whoa,
so yeah, I went back. Bouncing back and forth between both games, both Steam Deck and obviously Switch. So
yeah.
Those are what I've been playing, but I've been really excited for tomorrow.
Yes. Now, did you get what you got a special edition, didn't you?
I got the collector's edition. Yep.
Okay. And are you sure it comes tomorrow? Haven't you been burned before?
I have been burned before, but this one, I have checked the tracking. I've been on the tracking all day. I've checked it like 4 times this morning. It should actually be in the state within the next 2 hours. So I don't know if UPS is willing to deliver it today because it'll be here. I mean, technically before it closes, but it'll definitely be here tomorrow. So
I know somebody, I won't say the name just in case he's worried about getting in trouble, but he shouldn't get in trouble. He got it early. Like they delivered it, and they delivered it yesterday. So we got 2 days.
That's awesome.
I'm so well, you know what? I mean, there's a certain trick about traveling to a very far off continent right now on Xbox if you wanted to. I'm not, I've done it for like the bigger game, Gotham Knights, Hogwarts Legacy. You'd think I would do it for Jedi, but I really think I can get the platinum here. So I want to try. I'm gonna get it on PlayStation, and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna actually. I haven't even downloaded it, so I got to probably download it. It's 150. Oh my god!
Yes, I got to clear space.
Yeah. Well, I just deleted Horizon yesterday. I definitely have space, but I have pretty good internet. But that's still gonna take probably 3-4 hours, even with like super good. So I'm gonna have to download that like right after we get off. So it's right because it's 10. It'll be 10 o'clock my time is when it goes live. So 10. I can stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock maybe. So I could probably sink 3 hours in. No, for me, Dead Island. Been playing Dead Island. I beat the duo of Dead Island and Horizon Burning Shores. I played Crash more than I ever thought I would. 15 plus hours in Crash. What a freaking game! I love it. So that's pretty much it. We'll leave it there because I've just done videos, on all of it. Let's get to the news. So I mean, Gotham Knights obviously being the biggest one. So I did the video yesterday. Then I did a video this morning on the trophies / achievements. And then I do the video. Then I see your message. Well, I saw your message right after. Like I went on Twitter and I saw it. And then you messaged. And I was like, oh, my dear God, why would they on how they did it? But what do you think? What do you think about do you even consider it DLC? It's actually an update.
Yeah, it's an update. Like it's technically DLC, but I would consider it an update. It's reworked boss battles, I believe. And like they added a thread like maybe 10 minutes after of everything that the update entails. And there is like a few quality of life things that they added. But something is better than nothing. And that's why I'm excited that there's more content because then I will go back and see what's new. But definitely not the story content I wanted. But I'm happy that it's not totally abandoned.
I'm happy for the quick turnaround. I'm happy they show it yesterday. People were right on the money. Like when I clicked, your tweet was actually first on their thread, which is pretty cool. When they did the picture, I saw you, but everybody, right? Everybody saying, "Oh my God, is this DLC?" We nailed it. I mean, it could have been, I suppose, nothing, but the turnaround from yesterday to today. Now, dropping it a day before Jedi, I don't think was a smart move. I just think it's going to kind of get buried, but keeping it alive kind of like I mean, that's what I said in the video a few hours ago before it went live. Keeping it alive. Now, let me ask you. Let me ask you the question that I posed in that video. How I look at it is I see them keeping it alive. I see that as a success. Like they view the game as a success because they're going to keep going. I wouldn't view it as, oh, numbers are dropping. We need to get people back into the game because we want it to be around forever. So we're going to add a new thing. I really don't look at it like that. I look at it that maybe it sold actually pretty well and they're just throwing out reused content just to kind of keep people. That's how I look at it. How do you like view why they're even doing it in the first place?
So that's a breath of fresh air for me, to be honest, because when covering it in all the threads that I did leading up to Gotham Knights, there was obviously questions asked about future DLC.
Yeah.
And they said that the DLC would be dependent on the success of the game. So the fact that I'm seeing this kind of indicates to me the same thing that's you're talking about, which is that it's a success. I can't say for certain that it is, but I definitely don't view this as a we want to keep the game alive thing, especially because of all of the studio, like most of the studio has moved on to their next project. And that's why I'm like, if it had to be a success for them to even keep doing it. So I'm very, very excited to hear
that. And yeah, you could kind of see, like, I can see people making fun of this update because it really isn't too much. But yet again, it's not really build up to be much, right? Number one, it's kind of like we build it up to be it. But number two, like we know most of that team is working on like we saw the job postings of, or we saw like LinkedIn pages of people that were working in Gotham Knights that are now saying, an unannounced game. So it's probably 10, 15 people, like that made this legitimately probably under 20 people threw this thing together in 2-3 months. Like that's so, it is what it is. You don't have to, to be honest, I don't know when I'm going to play it. 15 floors. Jedi, I'm doing videos during the day, and then at 10 o'clock. So I have maybe I have 4 or 5 hours and like making dinner and stuff. And I don't even know if I want to play it to be like right now. I don't even know if I'm in like the right mindset. But so you could clown on it all you want. That's totally fine. But they definitely didn't have to do it. I find it interesting that they did do it, and it's something else. I will eventually. I will go back for sure. Gotta check it out. Gotta see. But I never got. Did you go all the way in the challenge floors?
I did not. I did not make it all the way. In fact, I didn't make it far at all.
Okay.
I do need to go back and give it time. I just didn't go back and give it like the proper time. When I went back and played
30? Was it 30?
30 floors. Yep.
I think I made it to like 21. I made it pretty good, but it started getting you needed 4 people. I couldn't like I got a good portion of it done with I think I was playing it on a live stream, had people. I played it at night once and I got me and maybe 2 others. And I think I definitely think we got into the 20s. But once you get into the 20s, you need because there's just they're sponges. The enemies are just sponges.
Yes.
And then some of those like defense ones with like the hacking, like you need 4 people. You need to be like ready to go. And if you don't have 4 people, I don't think you're gonna make it to floor 30. So this one being 15, I wonder how fast it ramps up. And like you need
probably ramps up early.
You really cannot do it alone. Like I'd like to see somebody try. I think maybe somebody told me they did it alone, but like,
in the Discord, I've seen a couple of people say it.
It just
I can't.
Yeah,
no, it's time consuming, and I couldn't do it. I personally couldn't do it. I like the idea of them though. I do like playing them, but when I want a full team because I don't want to encounter any more frustration than I. It was one of those things where I was like, "This is going to take some time. I need to legitimately." Put aside a day, I don't know what that day is, to actually go through and do it. But it was but at some point it's something that I do want to go back and finish. Now if they added another 15, I mean I'm gonna be a while. So
just want to say hi to everybody in the chat. What's going on, guys? I saw this, the Twisted Metal. Let's do that. We'll do Twisted Metal, then maybe Armored Core. So there's the poster.
Yep.
I like it, to be honest. I like
Yeah.
it a lot. I've said it time and time again. I think the cast can kind of carry this thing. I think that's what the cast is there for. Peacock, I don't know the quality bar. I don't think it's high,
Yeah.
but can you? I don't know if you know.
I have Peacock. They've actually put out some very good movies, surprisingly.
Oh, okay.
Um, I would say that the quality isn't the top of the notch quality that you would probably get from like an HBO Max.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
but I
think the
wouldn't call it
quality here is
low.
not going to be The Last of Us, right? Like I don't
Yeah,
think
no,
the
not at all.
budget is not multi-millions an episode, but I think it can be like I've said it before. Like I'm actually extremely interested. I am more interested in seeing this than definitely The Last of Us. I think I'm more interested in seeing this than like Uncharted. If you kind of go backwards, like I don't even love Twisted Metal all that much. Like I like it, solid franchise, but like I just kind of want to see how it looks. Like how do you do Sweet Tooth, right? Definitely. I mean, Nev Campbell obviously gets it a lot of bonus points to me. She's playing Raven. So like seeing her as a goth should be interesting. But Raven is supposed to be a teenager. She's definitely not a teen. So like they're gonna obviously do some different stuff with characters here. But being in July, late July, July 27th, that's pretty close. Actually, that's very and IGN, I don't know if you read the thing. IGN did a post on this or they did an article and they said the trailer is dropping tomorrow, April 27th. But
Today
today's
is
April 27th and the article was dropped today. So I do think tomorrow, Friday, there will be a trailer for it.
I've liked everything that I've heard about it. The cast is one thing that sticks out to me. Sweet Tooth, I believe, is being played by Samoa Joe, who is a wrestler.
Yeah.
And he's also the voice of King Shark. So in Suicide Squad. So Anthony Mackie is in there. I have a lot of cast members that I have confident that the cast might be able to carry it even if the script is bad.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that most of my excitement is just keep on.
Will Arnett. He's the voice of Sweet Tooth?
I think so.
He's like an executive producer, like he's putting the show on. And then people I think he was announced as Sweet Tooth, and people were like, well, he's not gonna actually play Sweet Tooth. I think he's just the voice of it.
Voice of him.
So, yeah. That's
and
gonna be
then
so cool.
It is. And I think for me, the biggest thing for excitement for it is just like for me, Twisted Metal was never like a franchise or it was like I was over the moon about it. Like I enjoyed it, but I didn't like love it. Like this is one of my favorite franchises of all time. But I am extremely excited. I think that's because like it is one of those franchises that just kind of went away. Yeah. And it was like I always said like I would like to see what another Twisted Metal would look like in this day and age game wise. Yeah. And seeing a movie finally like come out for this franchise that's been abandoned for so long, I can't help but be excited. So,
well, and the thing is, what I found interesting about the timing here, right? So you announce it today, trailer tomorrow. The shows start 10 episodes. Show starts July 27th. So that gets you through like September. Well, we know that there's the game. Like there is that game that's being made. The rumors, obviously, there's been so many, and there's job postings indicate a racing or I don't even know what you want to call it. I don't think it's racing, but like there's absolutely, I think it was going to be the Destruction All-Stars team, right? And then they took it away from them and they gave it to somebody else. So the game's definitely happening. But I guess what gets me excited is I think you can very easily, not even pencil in, I think you can put in an ink that when we get the PlayStation Showcase, we will see that Twisted Metal game. Because why would you? The game is meant for the show, which is probably backwards. You probably want shows and movies being based off of games. But I think they made the game because they were doing the show. And so you wouldn't have the game come out a year, 2 years after. The game probably comes out this fall or early next year. So I do think you show it. Are you interested in it's going to be live service. That's another thing. Are you interested in a live service Twisted Metal game?
I will play it. I will try it. If I like it, then we'll go from there. But I'm not absorbed with interest at all. I do, like I said, like I always wanted to see what a Twisted Metal game would look like in this day and age. But like, the last I heard of it was literally that they took it from the Destruction All-Stars team
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure it was happening until you just said that.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I think there's been jobs, and I think some people from the Destruction All Stars team went to the new team, they have a name, and I think they're kind of well known. Just don't remember what it is, but I think some of them like moved over. So yeah, I think by all accounts, I think. Well, let me ask you, because I was actually talking about this. It'll be in a video that goes up on the weekend. What's so interesting about these Sony projects, right? You look at like the 10 things they have, they're working on. So everything is connected to a game. Most of them, there are games that are still happening. There's three if you count Twisted Metal, right? So Twisted Metal is one. If there is no game, it's like odd to do. There's two others. Days Gone, right? They're doing the Days Gone movie, and Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush is getting a movie too. So how do you view PlayStation's got 10 things in development? Do you think like they're all attached to because the franchises are still going? What do you feel about Days Gone? Because for me, like I don't see a Days Gone 2 anytime soon or Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush is fantastic, but I just don't see it. Like why those? Why those two?
I think honestly, just looking at The Last of Us, before the show came out, it was talked that that Last of Us 2 was probably gonna be the last of Us game.
Yeah.
And then the show was about to come out. They started marketing, the excitement started building up. I think an episode came out, and then they're like, Last of Us 3 is not in production. Right. Now they could have already had that plan, but the talk of the town was definitely the opposite beforehand. So I'm thinking that if they have enough confidence to make movies out of these franchises, and they have to know that Days Gone is very huge to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think that there will be another game. I don't know how soon that will happen.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, I'm kind of with you almost to the point where it's like between the studio, everything that's went down, the distrust between the sides. I don't see how it can unless they hand it to a brand new studio, which I would not want them to do. I'm optimistic for it if they feel comfortable making a movie out of it. Why not?
Yeah, I definitely. I'll take. I'm pretty anti these things happening in general, but because we're in an era where they do happen, I have kind of learned to just accept it and just, we'll see. Like I really don't know. Like The Last of Us did good. The Last of Us, I definitely overall really liked. They definitely went some different paths here and there, but I think overall did good. Can you do that with God of War? Is that good? Because I don't know. God of War is a franchise, right? So many more games. I have a longer history with it. Last of Us, the first game is one of my favorite games of all time, so I guess I have ties to that. The Horizon thing, that'll be super interesting because I don't know if that'll work. I really don't know if Horizon's going to transfer over. But yeah, Gravity Rush I think could maybe be like the best one, especially if you do it animated. Like don't even do it live act, please don't.
No.
Just do it animated. That'd be freaking insane. But I hope that for those two examples, that's why again, like Twisted Metal, I guess is kind of in that group, right? Because it doesn't have a game attached yet, but it will. But like Gravity Rush and Days Gone, one of them you killed in Days Gone. You publicly said, we're not doing it. Gravity Rush, you actually closed the studio down. So I guess you killed Gravity Rush as well. Like of all the games to pick, you pick those two. So it's just weird. Infamous, why haven't we gotten Resistance? Those are two great ones, I think. Sly, obviously, I'll Never Let Go. Jak and Daxter. There's 4 right there. You can always do Ratchet and Clank too, I suppose. You did the movie a little while ago. So there's Twisted Metal. Very excited. I'll have to do weekly reviews on the channel, just like I did for The Last of Us. But I'd be excited for that. Okay, Armored Core. Did you see it? And if you did, what did you think? And if you didn't,
I have not seen it.
That's okay. All right. Well, guess what then? We have to watch it.
Pull it up. Let's do it.
Do it. What's your history, if there is any, with Armored Core? Tell the folks at home while we do it.
I've seen articles. I've read articles about it. I've actually seen it across my timeline. I want to say earlier this morning. I didn't look at what was posted about it, but like the video that was attached to it. But I am aware. I'm very much aware of it.
Okay. I think I've played like one or two. I remember seeing and by saying I played one or two, I played one or two of them. I may have played Armored Core 2, literally. I had it for PC. I remember getting the PC games that were like the really big, like kind of boxes. I
Yeah.
remember like being given, and you see like the mech on it. Like I definitely remember it. I didn't like it, but I was like, yeah, I had to have been under 10, under 10 years old. And I wasn't really like, I played Sims, Sly, Crash, and then you give me Armored Core. It's like, well, it's most likely not going to work. Okay. So I think it looks great, by the way. So let's watch it. Share screen. One day I'll get faster at this, but not today.
Here we go. Looks beautiful already.
Yeah.
We're close to Rubicon. Wake the dog up.
Handler Walter verified. Activating cerebral coral control device.
It's got to have these powerful, like, one-line statements, right? This is from software.
Augmented human C4621 has awakened.
One of the infamous Handler Walter's hounds. Interesting. You ready to climb the wall?
Call sign Raven. Priority subject for termination. High on the list.
A coral was sold from the generator. Watch out.
Why hide behind another's call sign?
Let's see how far they can fly. On borrowed wings.
August.
You get the date. I think it looks like a lot of fun.
As a person that likes playing Gundam games,
Yeah.
I was very much appealed to me there. I was just looking at certain things. I'm just like, okay, all right, I can get with this. I have a friend I normally play Gundam SD with, and on the PlayStation, and yeah, I can easily see that's going to be a thing.
Like I said, I don't think I ever liked whatever I played, but this also, like, this feels very From Software, like a Dark Souls, Elden Ring. Like, it looks how you're even gonna move and kind of face off and like move around enemies. Like, it definitely reminds me of Elden Ring and stuff. So yeah, I'm into it. And the release date, it's one of those. It may. Well, I don't even know. It's From Software, so I don't think it's fair to say like they're gonna have or they should be afraid of other things. However, I believe that puts it, 1 to 2 weeks before Starfield. We don't know when Spider-Man comes. I think it puts it a week after Texas Chainsaw, which I know they're not the same kind of games. I'll be playing a lot of Texas Chainsaw. So I think it just adds to once you hit August, mid-August, things pick. You know what I mean? Like I think this is just another one. Because then you got Texas, this Starfield, Spider-Man. You imagine like Avatar and Assassin's Creed Mirage. Like this is just another one to kind of add to that list.
It definitely strengthens that time period of game releases for sure. And I'm kind of happy to see, like, even if Spider-Man gets, like, when it gets announced, even if it's really around there that time, I would like to see all the games stay put, because, like, I don't think Spider-Man will be a letdown. But let's say like one of the bigger titles is a letdown, then you have an opportune chance to shine. I mean, that's like the biggest come up you can get is like, this game impressed us and Starfield was a letdown, but we had this game to say, like, you can stand so much, but like that is very risky money wise. But
you know what? They have been very disrespectful in a sense to Horizon last year. So maybe this is just a little bit of karma coming back, that you steal all the steam from Horizon, then you're gonna get a little steam stolen from you. Not like I don't think they really have to worry. Armored Core is also, I think, more of like a niche thing. It's not the same as a Soulsborne kind of thing. I think like the DLC for Elden Ring would maybe outperform Armored Core. Like it's that kind of.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, it looks really fun, and it'd be the first one I've played in decades.
It'd be the first one I played ever.
So unless I'm missing something, maybe let me check Twitter, because if we're done with the news today was a little light. Gotham Knights coming out was great. A Smile sequel's in the works. Oh well, there has been CinemaCon. Would you like to say anything about anything that we've seen? Anything that stood out? Trailers,
the Flash,
Flash, I suppose.
Unfortunately, the Flash, man. It's a double-edged sword, because it's.
I mean, it's really a Batman trailer. Can we say that?
Yes,
at least to be somewhat critical.
For sure. And I think that's done by design, honestly.
100%.
For sure. Just seeing Keaton. Keaton really is hard. Like, stole most of the damn the time for the trailer. I loved it though. Seeing the different suits in the Batcave, just seeing a little bit more of the plot of the movie. Like I truly think that this is going to be a good movie. I just really hate. We all know, like
There's some weird like defenders of Ezra's on Twitter. Well, that's not weird. You know, Twitter. It's gonna.
Yeah.
I want to bring in Amber just for a second as well, but you know, I like to dig at it. Like I'm not gonna let it go. Like, look, at the end of the day, I don't take it. These people. One guy was like, you know, you're still on this, like kind of like a disappointed kind of thing in me. Ultimately, do I care all that much? No, I'm not gonna see these. I don't care if you do. And I truly, maybe Sway can speak for me, or or he can back me up. Like I mean that. Like I'm not here to tell you what to do with you. I don't care. Like I'm very I said it before. Like Sway, you're a friend of mine, and I don't have many friends. I stay very internal. I don't like people. I don't like talking to people. So I don't care if you go to see the Flash. I do like making a big deal about it on Twitter. I think that's what Twitter's all for, right? So I've said some stuff about Ezra on Twitter even the last like day or two, but there's like some weird defenders of well, obviously like the path to redemption and stuff, and that's fine, but just some people trying to downplay choke slamming the one fan, beating people up, kidnapping a baby actually, sorry, let's get it right. Just a lot of like people defending that's not too bad, like you could do worse. Can we just?
There needs to be repercussions for his actions. And listen, he can give me the greatest performance, ever in the Flash, but just off of morality, you cannot have him as the Flash going forward. Nor can you be upset with someone for not liking him and thinking that it's appropriate for him to still have this opportunity. Because let's face it, if they were average Joes like me, you, or anybody else,
So
and we
much
did
trouble.
remotely one of those things, we
You'd
would
be
not be, we'd be done. So like you can't,
That's
get upset at somebody for feeling that way.
right. That's the thing. I think it ultimately, and I think I maybe said this on Twitter, like what it's not even Johnny Depp. Like, of course you can always go back to him, and I will. But at the end of the day, it's really just about like standards. In Hollywood, I'm not gonna sit here and like I'm not gonna sit here and like fall under their little hypnotic thing where they pretend to be all righteous and they have these incredible standards that are like a level playing field and they just preach it every day. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that's true. Like I will not do because it's not true. It's all, it's all garbage. So yeah, it comes down to Johnny Depp, but that's just one example of Hollywood. They'll preach one thing, they'll do another. You're right. If Ezra was somebody else or Ezra was just an average Joe, absolutely you'd be fired. At least you can make again, downplaying the crimes. People are saying, well, it's only misdemeanor, so maybe you wouldn't get arrested. Well, I think you would get. I think for a misdemeanor, don't you get arrested? You literally get booked, but you get let out. So technically, you are jailed. Whatever. But you know what I mean? Like at the very least, you'd be fired. You'd 100% be fired from this job and probably blacklisted from Hollywood because people have done less and also been black. Like Gina Carano has broken 0 crimes and she's gone. So you know what I mean? So
I think what needs to happen, to be honest, is just cancel culture has to die. You have to to honestly speak, and that works for both sides, which is just
if you don't want to cancel Ezra, that's fine. Then you don't cancel.
But you can't cancel anybody. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. And growing up, like look at Robbie Downey Jr. He had the opportunity to have a comeback story. As long as cancel culture exists, you can allow for a person to learn from their mistakes and have a comeback moment of enlightenment. You can't allow for that. And quite frankly, if you've ever been friends with anybody, like actually friends with anybody, and they do something wrong, your first instinct should never be to abandon them. It should be to get them help, not to abandon them and make sure that they can't work anywhere ever. No, make them learn from their mistakes. Make sure that they, like it's
imagine
crazy.
Like you just said it. Imagine that, right? You make a mistake, and now some of these people have made very small mistakes. I think like Johnny Depp was literally a lie, so he didn't make a mistake at all. So yeah, I mean that's so funny, right? You make a mistake, and so what do we do as a loving, caring, accepting, which again, Hollywood, that's all that they are, right? They're so accepting and inclusive. You kick them to the curb, and you really want them to die. You fire them so they have no money. You cancel, you pull other projects they're in. You never allow them to be in anything else. You cut off all support. You kick them to the curb, and you hope that they literally do not live anymore. So that's how you help people in current day. I mean, that's insane.
It is. And that's why I say like it has to be played fairly on both sides. The rules can't be bent for one side and not the other. I think, all the way around, it just needs to go a little bit backwards and just say like, everybody should be held accountable for their actions. So, for example, Will Smith can't show up to the Oscars. He can't do that, but that was their repercussion for him. Yeah. So I'm all for people having to pay for their actions, but shunning them into oblivion and making them no longer be able to. If you do that for one side, you have to do that for the other. It's either do that for everyone or do that for no one, and people just pay the consequences for their actions at the time that they're paying for them. That's why there is jail, right? Yeah. You go to jail to pay for the crime. There's no reason why you should go to jail and then come out of jail and then you're still paying for the
that issue I think has been around kind of forever, and we've now taken that and made it even. No, that's very well said. Yep. And And then there's the Amber stuff. There was that big tweet from the Daily something that posted, she's back, and it got like 176,000 likes. Now, on one side, I thought Elon dealt with a lot of the bots. I also do feel like Twitter does have less bots. But I also do not want to believe that there were almost 200,000 people that liked the tweet saying Amber Heard has returned. However, since then, because I commented on it and said, what a load of garbage, since I said that, I've been now recommended some Amber accounts. So I've been seeing now. And we know a lot of those are actually bots. I think that was almost proven that she pays for those. So Elon kind of maybe still has a soft spot for Amber Heard. That's going to be here. We talked about this last week, right? With Aquaman does not seem to be doing well, from internal viewing. So that one, I'm going to feel very happy when that one fails, because I think The Flash ultimately is going to do quite good. Like, I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion, but I think, 600, 700, 800 million, I think it can do, which won't be making too much money back because the budget was so, it may make a couple $100 million. Aquaman, I think Aquaman could completely flop. Because I think the Johnny Depp stuff will come back, really big right before it. The rumor is in the trailer, she's only a cameo. In the trailer, she's in it one time. So, in the movie, obviously there was the debate in the movie, is she in it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes? But I could see Aquaman legitimately 300, 400 million, like a Black Adam kind of thing. I could easily see that because also Aquaman, it's the last one, right? It's the last of this. So who cares? Who cares what happens in it?
Yep, because it's not gonna play a factor into the now there is rumor that he might still be Aquaman in the new DCU, but we don't know anything for certain. But this movie won't matter in the long screen, the grand scheme of things. At least the Flash has had stuff added to it that's allegedly going to be going forward into the DCU, but Aquaman, David Zaslav doesn't like it. I'm not
look how
too
James
optimistic.
Gunn talks about them. James Gunn is never. They're always saying that. I'm tired of hearing it. To be honest, I don't think The Flash is going to be the greatest superhero film on planet Earth. But everybody there thinks that. But I really think
it could be up there maybe with one of them, but it's no way it's better than Logan.
I personally, hot take, I guess. I think they're doing it because they want to make money back. Because I do think, you have the merger, you have all this stuff. I do believe look, last year, didn't they literally have to push Shazam and Aquaman because they didn't have money to promote, right? That was the thing.
Yep.
So they literally don't have money. The Flash probably needs 500-600 million to break even. If that movie comes out and it makes 300, if it does like Shazam, they have lost almost $500 million.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't think they can do that. So I do believe I do think it's going to be a good movie. And if you watch it, you'll definitely have to do a review on this podcast for sure. But I don't think it's the greatest thing of all time that they're saying. I think part of why they're saying it is if there's any movie that we need to make money on, because we really don't stand a chance with Aquaman. And Blue Beetle looks solid, but how much money is that? With Shazam, that completely failed. How much money is Blue Beetle going to make? Come on. See, really.
He's an unknown to a lot of the masses. So that's going to be a gamble. I hope the budget for that movie wasn't too big.
It's probably big.
But the Flash, they absolutely need to. So I'm not mad at them that they're going about it this rate. I'm even looking at some of the critics, and I'm just I'm willing to believe that this movie is great. In fact, I have one reviewer that I trust said that the movie is great. It is not the greatest comic book movie of all time, but it is excellent. It is great, and I'm okay with that. But if that's how they want to market it that way, then go right ahead. Because it is. I was shocked at the amount of excitement in reaction videos that I was seeing yesterday. They were earlier this week because of it. And I was that's got to be that a little bit of that hype that it's working.
For sure. Did you see Chris Hemsworth stars as Optimus Prime in the Transformers animated origin movie?
I heard about that.
I don't know. I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy who's done Optimus for like however many decades. That kind of sucks for that. But Chris Hemsworth is a pretty good choice. What else? What else happened at CinemaCon? Flash, the DC stuff. I think Disney was there / Marvel, and I saw like the tweets. They showed like nothing. They showed like absolutely nothing. People were like kind of shocked. And we're like, oh, I guess we'll have to wait until the summer for whatever, like the next, like the
That's
past.
concerning.
Yeah.
That's concerning because it doesn't speak confidence. You got movies coming out soon. I know that they're probably going to show something at San Diego Comic-Con for sure.
Yeah.
I believe that that's when honestly most of the DC stuff is going to drop. Like I believe you're going to get your Superman casting there. I believe they're going to walk him out on stage. I believe DC is going to have a huge presence, but Marvel, if they're going to show anything, it's going to be there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Paramount's going right now. There's not much like the Smile sequel, but we knew that. They're not going to do a Scream 7 announcement because they hate me, and that's kind of it. I like these events. Like these are kind of the events that one day I'd like to, even though I'm way more into gaming than this, but these really do feel like events because you're there with everybody. They're showing you sizzle reels. You may get to watch a full film for all you know. You know what I mean? Like it feels dynamic. It feels like there's plenty that they're showing you. Gaming, well, there really isn't that many in-person gaming things anymore. And for gaming, it's not like you're going and you're playing 6 games for 2 hours a piece. Like you can't do that, and you won't do. Nope. You know what I mean? So or they're not going to let you do that. So I think things like CinemaCon have a somewhat leg up on. Gaming's different though. Like the Game Awards is always like an event. Like it's larger than life, and I can't freaking wait for it. Or Summer Game Fest. Okay, well, we have the last 15 or so minutes. I think we've set ourselves up rather well to talk about Jedi Survivor. So, so we have the Mark Hamill promo, which I think is phenomenal. And what are you thinking? Like, where's the excitement at?
Through the roof.
I feel this feels different than like most games that came out this year, other than maybe Hogwarts.
It's the closest I think I can think of to like people's engagement with Hogwarts. Like it is definitely the closest I've seen. The closer it gets, the more hype I'm seeing, the more excitement. And I think also that's because a mixture of people are just really excited to be able to be excited for a Star Wars project that they know they will actually get excitement out of. And then the other part of it is just I believe a lot of people are genuinely surprised by what's been shown and how greatly regarded the game has been. I mean, other than performance issues, this game would have been a 10. Like across the board. This might actually be a game. From all accounts, it could be game of the year, barring how Zelda is taken in and Starfield and Spider-Man. I mean, it's set up really nicely.
Yeah. Right now, it's an 80. So I nailed it. I mean, I just want to say one more time for the Alex was right crowd. I said 84 to 86. It's an 86 based off 86 critic scores, which is kind of funny. So it's getting great reviews. Well, let me ask you about. So yeah, it is somewhat of a concern. I think the closer we get, right, because there is a lot of people talking about the performance issues. Seems like PC is the one that it's pretty bad. I saw somebody who was playing it on PlayStation that said there were issues, but it was before any patches were installed. So hopefully because it seems like it's more like in-game, like when you're running and stuff, and there'll be like texture rips and the frames don't keep up with themselves, like stuff like that. I mean, that is important, but you're right. I mean, like the scores that are in the 9s and 9.5s, their weakness, when you read like their verdict, their weakness is the performance stuff. So if it comes out in a perfect state, do they give it a 10? I think a lot of them probably do give it, you know what I mean? So it's an 86. It probably gets closer to 90, 91, like where it's more like elite territory review-wise, right? If you go off review scores, if it comes out in really good condition. So did you have you seen anything? I know there's some people posting clips for some stupid reason on Twitter from, and I know there's leaks. I know people will post things, but there's people posting things from the EA creator network, how you can sign up to be like a creator partner with them. You have like a
Mhm.
logo on the bottom right. There's people posting like the Coruscant stuff as clips, and it's got the EA create. It's like, well, why are you letting these people? These are bigger moments in the game, and they're partners with you. Why are you letting them post? So I've seen like one thing that I would have wanted to probably see for the first time, not on Twitter. But I did. Have you seen anything? Have you gone like dark? Like what's going on?
I've gone dark, but like it's more of lessening my Twitter usage and lessening my YouTube usage. Like I'm very specific with what I do.
Yeah.
And so like anything that I've watched this week of Jedi Survivor has either been from official publication pages or like YouTubers that got it early and gave a non-spoiler review or was able to show off some non-spoiler features. So I've seen customization videos. I've seen
I saw the Deadeye thing with the
Yep.
pistol in the air. So we finally
I did see that.
That looked cool.
It did. And that's all like I've loved everything that I've seen. I've been blessed. I have not been spoiled. I don't know anything about the story going in. I have not seen anything from any of the other planets. Like I'm surprised I've made it this far.
And we've seen a lot on length too, somewhere in that 20-25 hour. It does seem like to do a good amount of stuff. It seems like you're probably going to be pushing 30 plus to do everything because there is a lot of kind of exploration to do. So yeah, I mean, oh man, like I want to do it. You know, it comes out tomorrow. It's going to be tough because will I be able to beat it by like Sunday, Monday? Probably not. Not if I'm like taking my time. You know, doing that's 10 hours a day if it's 30 hours. I probably like a Monday, Tuesday, or even Tuesday, Wednesday kind of thing for beating it. Dead Island, I went with a nice pace. I didn't rush. I did plenty of the sides. I did like 70-ish% of the entire game, which is like also collectibles and stuff. So, and that took me about 20 hours, but I didn't beat it till when did I beat it? Tuesday night. So I got it Friday. So that took a while, but I barely played it. Like when Jedi Survivor comes out, I mean, that's probably all I'm going to be doing.
That's going to be life. I think I forget.
Oh, but you know, Redfall comes out Tuesday. Oh, shoot.
Does. Oh my God. I forgot about it.
I just forgot the release date just now. Shoot.
Oh man.
I got to try it. I'm actually I'll say this. I'm getting a little bit more excited for that game. Like it's not in the same category as Jedi. I wouldn't even say it's the same category as like a Dead Island or Horizon. Horizon, I was very excited for Burning Shores, and I'd say it kind of met my expectations. But Redfall's like, I want to check it out. I want to check it out day one for sure. Like it's that powerful, I guess. But it's not like this is gonna like change me. This is something that is gonna be like revolutionary. I do want to check it out to see, you know, the performance, the 30 frames. Did you see the thing of they're selling copies? Do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's not a good look.
No, not at all.
For those that don't know, they're selling physical the discs, right? And it says on there it's got the 60 FPS, but then they put just a sticker. I think it's like GameStop, and maybe it's 10, whatever, and they put a sticker saying 60 is not available at launch. Oh, that's such a bad look. I don't think it shouldn't stop people, I think, from getting it. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal. You know, I think we've both weighed in on it, but that specifically is just you don't want to go to a store. I don't know how many people do that. You don't want to go into GameStop if you are. Look at this game and then see something like that where it's like, oh, part of the box is wrong. Like that's just, even though it's not too big of a deal, that look is pretty bad.
Not good at all. It makes it. I mean, some people might take it get the wrong impression. It's just like you did this on purpose. You advertise this and then you tell them, say it's not going to be ready at launch. So I mean, I don't know who buys the game.
No, how do you read that situation if you see that stick? Yeah, you're right.
Exactly, and I can't get mad at any customer who gets mad at that. So
yeah,
I for sure don't think that is a good look. As soon as I see it, I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I'm going to get on Game Pass, so hopefully I won't see anything on that one. Okay, let's read just a couple of these. If you guys have anything else you want us to talk about, let us know in the last 10 minutes here. Armored Core is going to go hard. Elden Ring DLC would easily outperform. Talk about Titanfall 3. Oh man. Well, there's nothing new about it. I played very briefly. I haven't gone through all the way, either Titanfall 1 or 2, but I am in the camp of those are underrated games. They should have sold better. They should have just done better in all. And I'd like a 3, but Respawn certainly doesn't seem like, because they're doing Jedi. You imagine they're going to do the next one, right? Like right now. They're making that shooter Star Wars game, right? Like there's a first-person shooter Star Wars game they're doing. And are they doing is Respawn Apex Legends? Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're doing that. So I don't see how. I think they've issued statements and stuff. The Titanfall is a part of their legacy and their community, but we're not going to do anything with it right now. I don't see how Titanfall 3 happens over the next while.
Titanfall 3 to me is more like it's their ace up their sleeve, right? If anything ever goes wrong for EA, if they need it, that's what they will pull out. As a person that's played both Titanfall games, I personally love them. I would love to see Titanfall 3. I just don't see it happening, especially when you get to make games for Star Wars. The amount of money that just making a game for that IP is going to bring you alone. You got a collector's edition out of me. All right, you're gonna do it. So I don't see.
The Titanfalls have never done well. They never sold well.
Never sold well.
So,
and which is crazy because after the first one, people were saying before the second one came out, a lot of people were saying that the first one was underrated. And then the second one came out.
Yeah, when you have two in a row. Yeah.
You have 2 in a row, and I don't remember. I don't see that often where it's this one game is a cult hero, and then the next one.
Resistance is the only thing. All 3 are super good. All 3 you would say about the one before that it's great, and then nobody bought any of them. I did. Nobody bought them.
Resistance was awesome.
Titanfall and Resistance share a comment. I mean, I always root, just in case anybody's whenever there's a game with a kind of a cult backing to make a next one, you can bet I'm always in. I can't see myself not being supportive. You know what I mean? Give me a Battlefront 3. Give me, you know what I mean? I don't think Portal is necessarily indie, but I think they need to do a Portal 3 at some point, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I was thinking about Portal a few days ago. For the love of God. The Flash looks good, but not a fan of Ezra.
That's why I'm in the same camp as you.
Agreed with you that it's a joke. I'll say I do like the Flash trailer. Yeah, I think people are gonna watch it for Michael Keaton. I do think that's the primary. If you polled people, I think he's the main reason, which is actually kind of insane because you don't think of him as he's incredibly talented and he's a great actor, but
not
he's somebody that gets butts into seats. Never really thought of him like that, but as Batman, he probably is. Michael Keaton as Batman gets people interested, which I don't think Michael Keaton on his own can do that.
No, and not to mention all the years he spent saying that he would never go back to doing Batman, and here he is. I feel it's.
I think it's powerful when that happens. When you say
very powerful.
If you say you're never going to do it and then you do, that's a bigger story. That's the thing Johnny Depp could learn. You say you're not going to do it and then you do it. It's oh my God, it's because nobody views it as. I don't think they would do it for Johnny Depp either. Maybe initially, but you don't really view it as them breaking their word. You see it from the positive side where it's oh man, they must have sold him on this incredible project. Now, oftentimes bringing back these legacy characters completely fails. So you're often left with, what did you pitch these people that they found so interesting? Because it really wasn't all that interesting.
For Johnny Depp, man, if he goes back to Pirates, either he's softened up and because time heals all wounds. So that's what I always look at when people say that normally, more than breaking their word. But for Johnny Depp specifically, they gave him those alpacas. So
he said what he would do. Yeah, he said it, so they just gave it.
He said it.
there was a review that gave it a 7.5 that said he waited because the early reviews all blended together. I think that was talking about The Flash. I've seen
Yes.
largely, I haven't seen any number scores for Flash from like the impressions from Twitter and
They're
stuff,
not
but just
allowed
a
to
lot
give
of,
it.
yeah. I've just seen the impressions of like, it was really good. But yeah,
That's
you
my
know,
criticism.
it's a case for everything. Like I do
it.
it. I do it too when I play a game or watch a movie. You know, as soon as you do it, you're on cloud nine, like you're really excited. And, you know, I agree. Like I'm not gonna fight anybody for saying that. Like your impressions then are probably not the real ones. You have to kind of give it a little bit.
Mhm.
I like to think I can do it, or I can understand that I'm kind of like higher than I should be, but I like understand it in my own body. But I would never fight somebody for saying you're kind of like compromised. You're compromised in that spot. I think that's true. Very excited for Jedi. Download is almost done. I got to get on it. Now,
Lucky.
you can't even. You
Nope,
have the
I gotta wait.
You gotta do it till tomorrow. Oh my god.
At least some of the data is on the disc, so it shouldn't be as bad. But
Yeah. Oh my. Now, when do? Well, you said you're just gonna watch the tracking. When do packages like is it like a 5 p.m. and later kind of thing? Is it mornings? Like when do they come for you?
it said by 7, like as of now, it says by like 7 p.m. tomorrow. But
Oh,
that's
dear
always
God.
like the generic time that they give you before like it gets into like the city. So
Yeah.
like probably like another hour when it gets into the facility down here, it'll probably say like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay. There
So
you
I can. It might even change to today because I've seen that happen too. So
Yeah.
it's like it's 1:58 here. If it gets here around like 2:30, there's a possibility I can get it today.
Oh my god. That's sweet, man. What are you guys' thoughts of Final Fantasy 16? Ooh, that's a good one. I'm
Very
sure we'll,
excited.
yeah. I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot more as we get closer to June. Yeah, well, you go. How excited?
The combat was something that I was always because I knew that they were going to do something different this year. One thing
Yeah.
that always piqued my interest is that one of the lead combat designers from Devil May Cry is on this
Devil
game.
May Cry, yeah.
And so seeing it in action, there are clearly differences from Devil May Cry. I didn't expect it to be a one-on-one impersonation of it.
Yeah.
But I do love what I like. This game I will love to play. Like this is right up my alley here.
Yeah.
The story from Final Fantasies, they normally don't disappoint me all that often. So like I am optimistic for the story, but the gameplay, the combat is definitely what I'm coming for.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I don't I mean I haven't played too many Final Fantasies, but even ones that I've seen like the story without playing it, like they're at worst fine. Like they never upset me. They're never like, you know, these dramatic huge things. So for me, that'll be fine. And it looks like, and visually, I mean, my God, also how they're leveraging, right? The PS5 looks insane.
Yes.
Just loading and visuals. I mean, it looks absolutely incredible. So yeah, that maybe that comment was in regards to the whole game. We forget. I mean, I think both of us, when we think of game of the year, Hogwarts, Jedi, Zelda, and then we say Starfield, Spider-Man. Final Fantasy probably deserves to be there, and I think we both leave it out sometimes. But it's a fair point. I think Final Fantasy should belong in this, especially once we get into June. Diablo, actually, we both forget Diablo too. Diablo. I think could be a game of the year kind of thing. That's the great thing with games. I mean, as we get closer to Diablo, the excitement there, and I think that game's going to do so well. And then Final Fantasy, that's going to kind of be a moment too. I don't know, for me, like I think for Star Wars, it's going to be higher, or for at least Jedi Survivor, it's going to be higher. But I'm really looking forward to. The thing with Final Fantasy is when it releases. I think it comes out 2 days after. Is it after Crash? So now I know I'm addicted to Crash. So here's the issue. I didn't know how I'd feel, right? So you're like, all right, well, you play Crash a couple of days, then you play Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy, you have to imagine you're going to have to sink like, 30, 40, 50 plus hours into this thing. But now I know Crash is good. So now when the game comes out, how am I going to pull myself away from Crash for 50 hours? Not even just for like a day or two. It's not an indie. I can't pull away to play Kena Bridge of Spirits for a couple of days. I have to pull away for like a week and a half. How am I going to do that? You tell me. How am I supposed to do that?
I have there. I seen an advertisement actually 2 days ago.
Final
I don't know
Fantasy
if
or
it's real.
Crash?
For PlayStation actually.
Oh.
They're supposed to have this. It's more of a remote play thing, but it's like a handheld. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and so I'm like, maybe you can just, when you're laying down, winding down, just
Oh my
get a
god.
little going.
What
Or
I have
maybe even on the
found,
Switch.
yeah, I mean, I can't. I have found over the last couple of days, I can get burnt out. I think burnt out, not of like, which is funny because I make so many videos. You would think I'd get burned out of that, but I actually get burnt out of playing games because that's
Yeah.
really all I do after like dinner till bed is pretty much every night I play games. So that does factor into the job, but I more or less just get so like when like Minecraft and then Horizon and then Crash, which again I played Crash way more than I thought, like 15 hours, and then Dead Island. And Dead Island took me like 20. I was just playing so many games, and it's like I've actually the last 2 nights in a row I've watched Guardians 1 and 2, so I went back to watch those.
That's
I
awesome.
legitimately needed a little bit of a break, so I guess we don't get those moments every like they're not often, but the Crash Final Fantasy thing is games kind of back to back, so I love it. I mean, I think you and I like we enjoy talking about it, and for the channel and stuff like it's great when it's like daily releases. But for me as a person, it's a little too much. I think 2 games back to back is probably the most. If you do 4 or even 3, that I think is a little much for me. I can't do it. I can't
can
do it
get
long
burnt out
term.
by
Like
it
if you
too.
did it every week, I couldn't do it.
Yeah. No, that's the same thing for me. I will never get tired of talking about games or the
Yeah.
industry and things like that. I could do that every day.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like playing games, there is a burnout period for me.
Yeah.
And like I'm weird because I'll either have a burnout period or if I feel like there's enough coming out, I might drag my feet on playing games. So just to stretch it. But between the two, yeah, no, like it is definitely a reasonable period of time where I gotta go, like I gotta do something else. I gotta do something else.
The Twisted Metal poster looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited for the trailer. I may do a video on this channel tomorrow. Maybe I'll watch the trailer. We'll do like a reaction.
This question, I'm going to talk about this too.
What? Oh yeah, this. Okay, so this will be the last. Well, let's end it here. What do you think?
Based on the reasons that they gave for why they did not want to go through with it,
the cloud.
These are all things that are easily fixable. All of them easily fixable. So like when people like I know in most cases like appeals don't necessarily work. I truly believe that Microsoft could win it because there's nothing I've seen. One, it told me that they don't really understand how Game Pass works. Number 2, none of this is hard for Xbox to fix. I think an appeal will win out because they can easily solve these things. And if it doesn't win, then that tells me that there is something else nefarious afoot here. They should win this appeal. I'm not even concerned based off of their concerns.
Well, and people are even saying like in the blocking, they kind of word it as we can strike a deal. Like if Microsoft makes some deals happen or makes amends, we'll let it slide. So it may not even get to, it may not even get to an appeal process, but I think at even at best, it's still months and months and months. That's still good. Like it's
not going to close this year. I don't think so.
Yeah, I remember it. It was predicted June. June is when people thought it could be finished, and now there's no way. Now it's like late fall holiday at the earliest, maybe even this time next year. Which we've talked about like for like is Sony being quieter because of this stuff, like with their announcements, right? We still really don't know. And people have come up with the theories, and sometimes they'll get shot down, sometimes they won't. I just don't want like these ripple effects still, but just let them do it. And then if they're gonna buy more, just get it over. Like again, this is I think Parker had said this earlier, like, or how I was saying with TV shows and movies, like I just accept that they're going to happen. It is the same thing for these acquisitions. I don't want them to happen. I'd prefer nobody buys any. Like Sony shouldn't have bought Bungie.
Nope.
Microsoft shouldn't have bought Blizzard or Bethesda. Activision, Blizzard, and then Bethesda. Like none of that should have happened. But because it does happen, I'm annoyed by it. But ultimately, just there isn't gonna be this many publishers in like 5 years. They're gonna get eaten up. Like Sega will not be around, which sucks. It sucks. Like I guess Sega will keep its name, right? Like Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda has kept its name, but Sega, as we know it, Microsoft will buy them. Square Enix will probably be bought by Sony. They'll still be Square Enix, but they'll be owned by Sony. Like if we're gonna do it, let's just do it. I suppose. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good thing for the future. These are monopolies, and kind of like this is not a good move. But whatever, you want to screw yourselves over, do it.
And my thing is that Sony, the reason normally I don't advocate for Alex, can you hear me? Am I still here? Dear God. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, there we go. So my thing is Sony is already pretty much, even though they're not the richest in the industry, they've kind of already monopolized as far as from a gaming aspect. And so for me, Call of Duty I look at this two ways. One, Call of Duty would provide a check to Sony, because that would mean like, hey, if you want this, then you're going to have to bring some of your titles over here. I think that that's what Call of Duty could do, is make the whole landscape more consumer friendly, because they're not going to want to lose Call of Duty. So they're going to have to come to the table. The other thing is, if this deal does not go through, that's actually going to be worse for Sony. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Microsoft can just strike a deal with Activision, and they don't have to sign a deal with Sony saying that, hey, this is coming to your console for 7 years. No, they can make it exclusive anyway, because Activision is already willing to sell to Microsoft. So they're going to be partnered with them no matter what over Sony. So this is only going to work out worse for you in the long run if it doesn't go through. So like all of this fighting it is pointless to me, because the alternative is worse for you.
No, I 100%. Even the stuff that's been like leaked about Jim Ryan, it's like there has to be more to it. Otherwise, these people are just very straight-minded in a bad way. They don't really see things through, because so I think you could take it one step further. So number one, exactly what you said. If this deal doesn't go through, Microsoft is going to go to Activision Blizzard and destroy any chance of Sony doing anything with them, like period. And they'll do it for less money. They'll do it for way less money. So you have that. On top of it, Microsoft is still going to buy more. They'll just take that money and say, Sega, we've been talking. Oh no, Sway's gone. I'll just talk for myself then. They'll look at Sega and say, we're going to buy you because that's just what we're going to do. So yeah, I agree with Sway. There's no way. Oh, there he is. He's back. Look, what is going on?
I have no idea.
I pretty much disagree. They'll buy Sega. They'll buy others, publishers. Like these, you can get all of these for cheaper. Like Activision Blizzard is the biggest one, or one of. Maybe. Oh, I think it's got to be like top 2 or top 3, unless you're going to buy like a Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. Beyond that, this is the biggest one. So you could buy like Take-Two. What if Microsoft goes and they buy GTA?
Yeah.
How is that going to work? You know what I mean? That's bigger than COD. So
they should literally be playing it safe here. They're playing with fire. I don't think that they should.
I would have just, if I'm Sony, I would have, and I don't know what they tried to do. Well, actually, if you believe Jim Ryan, it seems like they didn't negotiate that term, like the 10-year thing. It seems like they didn't do anything with that. If I was Sony, I would go and I would try to ask for like a 15+ year thing. Like I try to push that as far as you can. I'd say, all right, we're not going to take you to court. We're not going to battle you. I want like the best deal you could better than Nintendo, better than, because they gave Nintendo the 10-year deal. Give me a 15-year deal. And then we'll just let you go. Like I could care less. Sony's looked at it where it's like, no, it's 0 or forever. You either give us the whole thing falls apart, or it doesn't fall apart. Like that's where we're going for. It's like that's such a bad. How do you fall into that? Just ask for like a 15-year demand a 15-year deal. If you can't make a Call of Duty killer, knowing you have to, in 15 years, you deserve it. At the end of, in 15 years, you deserve it. Now, if you can't in 5 or 6, okay, understandable. In fact, it takes 5-6 years to make a game, right? So you basically get like 3 tries. If you do a 15-year deal, you can have a 3-game cycle to try to get that. And you know you need to because you know that deal will end. Like, why hasn't that been why wasn't, and also maybe Microsoft doesn't hate you. And maybe they'll still work with you, on things like you close a lot of doors.
And not to mention for all of this fight that they're putting up, let's say by the end of it, Microsoft gets the acquisition. They're going to give you your 7 years, and they're probably only going to release 2 games.
Yeah.
They're probably going to release 2 games that last for multiple years, and there's your 7 years, and then they'll start pumping them out traditionally again. There's so many ways that they can mess with you here. Yeah. I just don't think that this is the way.
This is not the way. Yeah, I don't know. The chat going back and forth with like Japanese the thing with Japanese companies, like Sony having such a big share, they do have a thing where they don't really like English, like American company. Like that does seem to be a legitimate cultural thing. I don't know if Microsoft, like Sega, but I don't know if Microsoft could ever go to Square, like let's just say specifically Square Enix. If Microsoft wanted to outright buy them, I really don't know if they'd be able to. They have the money for sure. They could offer double the money if they wanted to, but will Square Enix literally sell themselves to Microsoft? I actually don't think they would. Unless money talks, maybe the check is big and they don't care. But there seems to be a cultural thing where they just prefer Sony.
Yeah.
That's what I get from it. They've kind of said that before, that's just kind of how it is. So
I think, they wouldn't sell to anybody that's not Sony. I think that and that's why I say like that with Activision. I think that these companies have their friendship and partnerships and their lines in the sands. And like, even if they're not officially acquired by the companies, they're clearly on their side, and this is what you're going to get. And so that's why Take-Two has always been interesting to me, because it seems like they always go more like PlayStation when it comes to marketing their games. But I feel like Microsoft would be the one to acquire them. So like, I really don't know. They're probably like one of the only companies where I'm like, where does your allegiances really lie? Because you're giving me
your allegiance too.
Right.
Well, I thought this was a great show. I think we covered a lot of topics. We want to thank you guys as always for watching live. Thank you for watching, afterwards. We get a group of people that watch these once the video is published. We really appreciate it. Next week we'll have Jedi to talk about, and also I guess Redfall, depending on how much I get to it. But I want to thank you guys for watching as always. And Sway, anything you want to say?
Thank you for supporting. Thank you for asking questions. We always love to see them. I'm loving this comment section. I will watch the Mighty Q video.
We're sorry we can't get, we're at hour 15. It feels like a good time, but no, we appreciate it. When there's dead episodes, we implore people to drop stuff. So there'll be episodes, I assume, where it'll just be driven by the chat. So that definitely, don't hope people don't think their voices aren't heard. They definitely are, or they will be for sure.
Definitely. And we appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.
Yes. Jedi Survivor time. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all in the next episode.